It's not often that a person plays a releasable nation in any Paradox game, but there's a very special nation in Victoria 3 that earns its interest, but for reasons you might not understand right away. Corsica is a hotly requested nation over on Connor's channel. Connor, for those that don't know, is an extremely talented Victoria 3 player, but what he seems to be lacking is respect enough for his community to listen to what they've been begging for at this point I think maybe a year, at least like 8 months for sure. Given Connor's abject refusal to play Corsica, I've decided more or less on a total whim to step in and give the people what they want. The world wants Corsica, they're gonna get Corsica in all its glory. May you finally be free of the curse with this video, Connor. Or maybe it'll get worse, I don't know, we'll find out. This is Corsica. Here it is. It's got a cool flag. It's a constitutional duchy, I suppose. It has all the same laws as France, because of course when we get released, we just take all the laws France had. And there's a government. I mean, things will kind of shake up once we unpause, but looking like pretty conservative and not so good, to be honest, but it's okay. It does mean we can just go straight back to autocracy, perhaps. One interesting thing about Corsica is I believe their language traits are weird. No, they're just Italian. I think it was in old patches where they had like French and Italian traditions. Like they had French language, but then Italian like traditions. But that was like old patches. They changed how this all works now. So we're considered Italian as far as the game is concerned. But I think that does not include us in the Risorgimento. We're not going to get events about that. Regardless, we immediately have shortages, which I think is because of our fish. And then we have apparently an artillery shortage. Why are we even using artillery out here? Artillery sucks. Now the question is, what can we possibly do as Little Corsica? Well, you probably can see my map is panning, and I hate doing this kind of strategy, but South Africa has people and it has resources that we don't have back in Corsica, and we're probably going to have to take advantage of the fact that right now there are no guarantees on anyone in order to make this work. So let's swap back to line infantry. In fact, we could even go irregulars, to be honest, because small arms are going to be expensive. So actually, I'm going to go irregulars. And we want to use hussars. I think we can use lancers, because do lancers require guns? They do require guns. Okay, in that case, do any of these not require guns? Okay, well, going to be irregulars and hussars then. And I don't even want to do like professionals, because then I risk like the expense will be a bit much. So I'm going to do like... I can only do one conscript. I guess we're doing professional army then. We're gonna do like, I don't know, 5 and 5. It's hard to complain about that. And then when it comes to our economy, we have arable land, but it looks like it's only making like 1 grain. Okay, well, road maintenance, agricultural throughput, enlistment decree, promote the social mobility, and we need trade centers like really, really badly. Give me like 5 trade centers, and we're just gonna hope that that can maybe stop us from completely imploding. As far as tech goes, we do get France's tech, so we actually have some pretty good stuff. I think that maybe we just grab like, oh gosh, I don't know, pharmaceuticals. The healthcare could be useful. Do that, and then we unpause. Although first we have to queue up the navy first, and then get me like 5 and 5. 5 man of wars, 5 frigates. Okay, great. Unpause. We don't have clippers, we don't have anything, nothing is working. All going to shit. Definitely turn this off, Yeah, that's alright. Russia's funding lobbies, cool. Let's make sure to let's just make friends with everyone. We don't want any enemies, so everyone that can be friends we'll be friends with. Now, I tend to never want to play insignificant or minor powers because you don't really have a lot to do as an insignificant power. And that continues to be the case, as right now, we can't really do like anything at all as Corsica. I am going to work on trying to accomplish something, which is going to be basically conquering South Africa. But in the meantime, all we're going to do is build up some trade centers, and we're going to subsidize the crap out of these because we need them to just bring in all the goods that we're missing. You see, now we're getting some clippers, we're exporting some wine. Like now we can actually maybe make our game kind of work a little bit. The problem with insignificant powers in Victoria 3 is that the gameplay of this game is to engage in economy building and diplomacy. Since our economy is microscopic at best, we can't do anything with that. And since we're politically and diplomatically irrelevant, we can't do anything with that either. So we end up just sitting here. That being said, I have started to develop something of an appreciation for the humble, insignificant power, and the joy of maneuvering around great powers to grab just a modicum of strength. Nonetheless, I usually enjoy playing at least a major power, and some minor powers can be fun depending on their position. I will play Corsica despite these complaints, and that's for you, dear Corsica enjoyers. Here comes the first part of our army here. We've got our irregulars coming up. You guys aren't very good, but they are enough to hopefully defeat the Zulus. I say that they got 13 men. Oh crap. Scary. Scary Zulu army. The funny thing about these hussars is that they consume 1 grain per unit. I can't go to the tooltip. It's impossible. I can't do it. It's down, all the way down there is why. Regardless, you can see it down here. They consume 1 piece of grain per unit, and we're making 5 of them. Remember, the total consumption of grain in this market is 1. So we're going to be pentupling our grain consumption real quick. Really funny. At least once they build, it'll take a bit for them to build. Are there actually any laws that I want to change, by the way? I don't think there are any laws I want to change. I think that this is all good just for now. Yeah, this is literally pretty much exactly what I want. And Britain expelled my diplomats. Okay, well, that's not good. Here come all the hussars now. Let's check the grain consumption in our market. So they're already up to 2 units. This is going to be for the barracks, yeah. And that means pop consumption is going down, so now we're going to lose standard of living, because basically the people are going to have to compete for food with the army. But it's okay. Once we conquer some places in South Africa, we'll have, you know, an army going. Kind of, at least. Here comes the navy now. Let's get an admiral. Yeah, this guy looks good. Intelligentsia is a nice interest group, and we don't need to upgrade him or anything. In terms of generals, what do we have? By the way, we don't have a general yet. Can I get, like, an advanced attacker? Yeah, offensive planner. Again, a intelligentsia. Not bad. Seems good. Again, we only need 1 guy. Rapid advance. Now, it's going to take a while for the fleet to reinforce, but we did put on the decree. The enlistment effort does increase the pace at which you train your ships as well. Problem right now is, of course, that we don't have any man of war, so I'm just going to subvent their imports a little bit. So that way we can probably import some. Yeah, there we go. We should be able to import, like, at least 1 man of war, perhaps. Yeah, there we go. Now, I want to get something out of the way. I try to do relatively sensible playthroughs in Victoria 3, in that I justify my actions with some light roleplay, and I do things that feel at least somewhat historically plausible. What I'm about to do here as Corsica is in no way justifiable, and I feel no shame in that whatsoever. The weaker the nation, the more difficult it is to achieve things, and thus the more meta we have to play. Conquering South Africa and Ethiopia are both meta picks, but I chose South Africa. Maybe Ethiopia would have been better, I don't know, but I chose South Africa because the Boer homelands mean I can integrate the states a bit faster than other African states. Okay, do we want to become a radical republic? Do we want to stay a kingdom? Who's our current king? Is he any good? If he's good, we'll keep him. Meticulous and political operator. Meticulous makes him actually kind of okay. Or do we have any good potential rulers for the republic? Or we could do some funny shenanigans with agitators, to be fair. There's always funny agitators out there, right? Weird historical characters and so on. For example, Ferdinand Philippe d'Orléans. Wouldn't it be fun to reconquer France as this guy? And let's go with the Republic. We can always swap back to a monarchy later. So we're going to support the radical movement. Spark of Revolution. Who will lead Corsica to the future? These are some radicals. And then we can probably just, like, immediately start working on becoming a republic. Let's favor the liberals, which right now only have industrialists. Okay, what happened to all my interest groups? I guess, yeah, okay, I guess we just don't have very many radicals at all, okay. Well, in that case, do we want to rig the election at all? If we were to see right now, there's like literally no, if we rig the election for the industrialists, it still won't really get them anything. But I think instead we're just going to do let the chips fall as they may. We have a shortage of grain, to be expected. Maybe this army's a little too expensive. Could be. And we're taking on debt. I guess let's just max taxes. Okay, right? We're going. We don't care about SOL. Thankfully, it looks like the Zulus split into Zulu and Natalia, so now we should be able to invade more easily. We're going to land in Natalia first. No one will help. Good. Okay, let's go. I think that this will be an easy clap. This is like there's no organization on this army. I think we're going to be fine. Unfortunately, this is a very expensive force, it seems. The Corsican Revolution. We want to get, you know, this stuff. Universal suffrage. Sure, do it. I think the Agrarian Party is going to win. Alright, we landed. Wow, look at that. We did it. We have no convoys, though. Wonderful. go ahead and invade Basuto land next, and I want to get rid of the line infantry. What I'm going to do is this. So this is obviously an untenable expense right now, but I'm going to use this army, like rather than getting rid of it, I'm going to use it to conquer all of South Africa. Then I'm simply going to, then I'm just going to disband it after. There's potentially a different agrarian we could use. There is a radical available. Juan Alvarez. Oh, we could. Okay, we have the opportunity to do slavery. I say we do it. Yeah, we're memeing today, so there you go. So now we got to put slavery back in. That's going to be really funny. We're going to do debt slavery. I think that'll be just really funny. Although I don't ever try to throw away playthroughs by playing poorly, the opportunity to re-implement slavery is a rare one, and so I will use it when it comes up. Slavery is not good in Victoria 3 in general, but it's one big bonus that you can get what we might call migrants into your nation using slave trade, but with debt slavery we'll literally just be putting our own people in chains if they get too poor. Slaves don't pay taxes, and they don't consume very many goods, making them pretty bad, but at the very least, their workforce ratio is 50% compared to every other job's ratio of 25%, so you get twice as many actual workers per slave pop compared to a laborer or machinist and so on. You want to cancel debt slavery? No, we cannot cancel debt slavery. But wow, that guy's going really fast. I'm going to actually negotiate despite it being kind of pointless, because I want to make sure this passes. Yeah, I think we can pass this before the coup fires. Here goes, please pass. Hell yeah, dude, okay. So we've only just started this insane playthrough, and already it's really heating up here. Why am I losing 10,000 to construct? Oh, we had to get rid of that right away. We're definitely not doing any construction. Heck out of there. Now at this point, the coup, would it still get rid of? So now it's not going to get rid of our slavery. So if the coup happens, then we just let it happen. There it is. So I'm going to just let the coup happen. Means new election, by the way. Cool. I will say, being able to implement slavery makes for a great thumbnail, and for all I know you clicked the video looking for exactly this moment. Well, here you go, pal. Despite my enthusiasm for slavery, it seems not all of the nation were so interested in a return to the based ways. Beyond the passing of debt slavery and the coup, this section of the playthrough was mostly the busy work of just clicking annex country and all the little South African nations, so I'm just going to skip on ahead to when we've completed that task. So this hopefully will give us a starting point for an economy once this port is built. We're probably going to go bankrupt. Let's see. What's costing us money right now? Losses from nationally owned buildings. It's the damn trade center. Well, we could shrink that too, I guess. Sure. And then paying interest. We can't do anything about that. Goods for military buildings. Yeah. Just the world that we live in right now. Easier times. Thank goodness. Yeah, now we're in the easy part of the campaign, right? A couple more weeks for the port. Up to 1 million GDP. Did you see that? For a second, we were like 1 million. Now, what do we do to avoid the bankruptcy? We're already max taxing, I'm pretty sure. I don't know what we do. Another coup? Okay. What could possibly go wrong? So at this point, the only way to save this economy is going to be by gold spawning. That's all we can really do for gold. So I'm not going to click bankrupt. I'm going to hope that the gold spawns. Also, yeah, coup. And now we can join the British market. So, to be frank with you, all this lame if you want, this is all we can possibly do. We have like no choice but to accept this, because being in the British market will at least make things kind of maybe a little bit okay. I'm going to accept this demand. The British market will give us access to a massive assortment of goods and demand for other goods, but most of all, a whole bunch of immigrants. Because we took all of France's laws, we have no migration controls, so we're able to let in literally anyone from across the empire. Question is, do we want them to go to Corsica proper or to the new Corsican territories of South Africa? The answer is absolutely South Africa, because that's where our resources are. Remember, buildings built in the same state don't take a market access price impact penalty to their good prices. So if we build a steel mill in Transvaal where there are iron and coal mines, the steel will be more efficient thanks to the proper pricing. Anyway, with our joining to the British Empire, we enter a new era of Corsican history, one of equal shame and subjugation and economic prosperity. Now, as long as we're a protectorate, we can still declare wars and stuff, but unfortunately we're going to be losing the British Empire pretty fast. So we're probably going to want to just piss the British off, make them not like us, just always make them upset with me. I wonder how much of my population currently are slaves. Let's see. Just a nice 13%. Okay. Once you get assassination, it looks like. The Duke was killed. You hate to see it. So we have to get a new ruler. So we have this guy's going to be the ruler once the regency's up. This is Giovanni, I'm gonna say Ettore. I'm gonna say that's the name Giovanni, but in Corsican, that's what I'm gonna say that is. We can put the slaver in charge. Okay, yep, yeah. That's you know what? It's just we're gonna keep this slave meta going. He's English, by the way, English Protestant. That makes it, in a way, kind of actually even funnier. Right, we want public health insurance. The thing is that we don't have any bureaucracy, but I think we want it anyway. I am causing a loss of, I'm causing an immense loss of cohesion in the power block because I have a lot of W desire. That's really funny. And yeah, at this point, I guess we're just playing like Corsican South Africa, to be honest with you. Where do we go from here is the question. In terms of realistic answers of where to go, there's Ethiopia for more easy African conquests, but there's also South America or Southeast Asia. The problem is that even with the British market, the expense of a military is one we can hardly afford, and I'm also feeling like I really need some kind of an economy before we conquer more. Naturally, that means we need an iron and coal industry out in South Africa, so I'm going to spend some time just building up iron mines. Here comes the first iron mine. I think it's done. That's crazy, dude. Look at it. It's glorious. It's actually employing people. It's making money. Unfortunately, tools are kind of expensive. Hopefully, Britain will make a better market so that we can work within it. I'm going to look up real quick if anyone else has played Corsica in Victoria 3. I want to check YouTube. Has anyone played Corsica in this game? I want to know if I'm actually going to be the first or not. Victoria 3 Corsica. It doesn't look like it. I don't see any videos of people actually playing as Corsica in Victoria 3. We're going to be the first ones, boys. So that wasn't true. Turns out a few Corsica playthroughs have come out, likely also inspired by Connor's community demands. But those videos conspicuously didn't show up in my search results. So let me shout them out real quick. We have a Corsican empire from Sharky Boy, a small but talented Paradox content creator who conquered pretty much all of Europe as Corsica, Giga Chad for sure. There's also the more recent example of Dairuka, who did another Corsica run, pulling off significant conquests too. Well, I'm gonna look like a total noob compared to those guys, but I'm still proud to count myself among the legendary Corsica enjoyers. Corsican National Awakening, oh my goodness, wait a minute. The culture is awakening. Oh no. I mean, that's actually kind of a good thing, I guess. There's the water tube boiler. Now we can get even more iron. The problem, of course, is that right now tools are more a problem than anything else. I wonder if we should just go communist. Wouldn't it be funny if we made like a communist island state here? Look at that. The budget is slowly returning to the positives. Are we going to escape debt here? The gold hasn't even been discovered yet. Speaking of which, it's 1851. Where is my gold? Where is my South African gold? Surely it will spawn soon, right? Another consumption tax, my lord. Perhaps. Opium. Yeah, that's a good one. And now we're in the positives. Would you look at that? Now, at this rate of 300 pounds per week coming in with 900,000 pounds of debt, we may eventually be able to escape our problems. Maybe. We do have 50,000 Punjabis moving here, which is cute. That's what happens when you have no migration controls. It's fun. Ooh, dude, police coordination means we get authority from the police now, which is pretty good. Atmospheric engine, get us some throughput on the iron mines. Oh my goodness. We're about to supercharge this economy. There's actually something deeply appealing about the truly tiny economy, and that's that each building has so much meaning. Each iron mine is quite the exciting burst of dopamine compared to playing a big country where it all sort of blends into the background. Of course, my live commentary lacks a lot of the enthusiasm that I, upon reflection, can sometimes feel for a small economy, but I wasn't expecting much from Corsica, and was indeed speed 5ing through basically everything, when I really should have been conquering Ethiopia, probably. Okay, do we have a Corsican cultural community? No, we don't. I thought for a second we had Corsicans here, but it was just like a UI bug. What I'm thinking is once we actually have Corsicans down here, which one day we might get if we get some immigration, then I'm going to use the assimilation decree, national values decree, to start making a bunch of Corsicans down here in South Africa. I think that'll be pretty funny. I actually stumbled upon what would become my main goal for this run with this thought. See, by using cultural exclusion, qualifications are mostly not a problem, but they are a little, so I was thinking that getting more fully accepted pops using an assimilation decree would be wise. That being said, what's really the positive effect of assimilating is that we can give the Corsicans a new place to call home, and what could be more valuable than that in truth? Drop all the taxes, we don't need taxes anymore, we can get rid of our consumption taxes, just run the whole economy on gold now. In terms of, now we have the authority from that, I'm actually going to put our greener grass decrees down. This is going to be in the hopes that we can get some Corsicans over here and then start making our primary culture people expand. Trial of Duke Giovanni. Poor Giovanni, man, he didn't deserve this, you know? His dad was assassinated, but I guess he's a bit bigoted. You know, we can't have a bigot in charge of South Africa. Couldn't be. So, guilty. Long live the Republic. Now in charge is Agostino Canquin. I don't know how to read Corsican like at all, so Oh well. Since we have a positivist, we can do something crazy. We could go right to like technocracy, which is funny. We could also do something like state atheism. You probably can hear it in my more enthusiastic voice, but I'm starting to really get into this campaign actually. The potential for crazy roleplay is really building up here, and the assassination of the Duke, followed by the execution of his son, makes for a pretty legendary story of the Corsican Empire's rise and fall. Naturally, their rise being held back by the British overlords is a shame, but even if the Corsicans have to live in the shadow of the British, it's a large shadow with lots of space to stretch. Well, perhaps a large shadow which once had lots of space to stretch anyway. Great Britain wants to lower my autonomy. I'm gonna decline and hope they don't put more war goals on me, but we maybe can call someone in. If not, we'll just back down. I think we're gonna have to back down. It'll suck because it means we won't be able to expand anymore, but oh well, give in. So now we have this Union Jack on our flag. Maybe one day we'll get our independence, but for now we'll just have to live with this. How much money are we paying to the British? 3 grand. Big oof. That hurts. Britain is raising our payments. Britain? Come on, dude. Oh, that's another 800 gold, or rather pounds, lost. Here's the gold mine. Once we get 5 of these, De Beers goes down. And De Beers isn't really that good of a company, but it'll give throughput on the gold mines, which means more gold, which we want to have, of course. So, obviously, it sucks being a puppet, but all in all, it's just a tax, I guess. We still get the British market, we still get the pops, we still get all the benefits of the power block. We just have to avoid getting annexed, which thankfully, the AI doesn't seem super keen on annexing subjects these days, unlike in old patches where Britain would casually annex parts of Canada or Australia. One more mine. It really is the waiting game when you're playing a tag like Corsica. You just have nothing to do but wait. This is the main reason why I don't like to play the really small countries, is because you do just a lot of doing nothing. If I were playing as Britain or France or America or something, I'd be like trying to do things. But right now it's like, just build. And I'm okay with that occasionally. I kind of felt like it today is why I decided to do this Corsica playthrough. That because I wanted to meme on Connor, because he's been avoiding the Corsica playthrough forever. I was watching his video a little while ago where he did Morocco conquers Spain and converts it to Islam. Definitely a solid video. I highly recommend that you check out Connor. But every single comment in all his videos is always about him not playing Corsica, so I figured I'd join in. I figured I'd get in on that. Unironically, do I want De Beers or do I want Corsican Gold Consortium? Because the minting is low-key more valuable than the prestige, but the colony growth speed's not bad. And I do also, this one's better because it controls iron, whereas this one controls lead. Okay, we'll take De Beers, fine. And if you look at the charters, give them a monopoly on gold, of course. And then I guess we can give them iron mines. And we could let them colonize. That's funny. I like that. Let's give them a colonial charter. I'd like never use that normally. In terms of getting De Beers to be prosperous, it should be very easy. Also, the guy in charge is a reformer. We should definitely name this. I just realized we did not give a name to it. Let's pull up the list of channel members. Let's give this one to Nezuko. So we're going to call this the same thing exactly. I'm going to be very lazy. We'll call it Nezuko instead of Beers. So there we go. Boy, thank you to the channel members, by the way. Big thank you for supporting the channel. Much appreciated. In terms of a second company, this is a very important question. What do we do with number 2? I feel like plantations are probably going to be our best bet. We just go big on coffee. I do it like every playthrough, but it's because coffee's really good. Thing is, can we make coffee here? No. It'd have to be tea. But we can get coffee if we go up here to Gaza, but no, we can't declare wars anymore, right? So there's no point. Gold is pretty good. What can I say? De Beers is an awful company, both morally and in terms of mechanics, but right now, the extra minting from the additional throughput on the gold mines is indeed exactly what I need. What's funny about all this is that I'm going to hit enough construction soon to reach the point where I can actually start making a relatively strong economy, and on account of that, and our subjecthood to Britain, I'm about to tip the scales heavily in favor of the nation that already had everything in their favor anyway. We could just do groceries. Groceries are always good in the British market because they have a lot of people trying to consume their stuff. So you know what, we'll probably do a food company, and maybe I'll look up some kind of Corsican food that we can spread around. And we'll need a lot of farming for that, but we have millet, so I guess we're making some millet-based groceries. How's Corsica doing? I just realized I've been looking at Africa all this time, but how are we doing back home? Still in complete and utter turmoil. The Punjabis are taking over. Yeah, that's funny. I'm not even sure why they're coming here. I guess our immigration traction is a little bit high. I don't know why, though. It's not really a place that people would want to go to, but I guess they do. For this one, by the way, you might wonder why I'm in relations with Britain. Because we're already a puppet and we have like no hope of ever escaping, I'm just trying to make him not annex me. So I'm, you know, improving relations. That's all I'm doing right now. How's the rest of the map looking? We haven't checked on the world very much. Austria took a little, just kind of partitioned Hungary, I guess. That's pretty cute. Is that like a journal entry? I don't know if the AI did that naturally or what, but that's funny looking. Sicily's having a civil war. This is just Sicily. It's not the two Sicilies. I think actually, no, it's normally Sicily, right? I'm just dumb because this guy's name is of the two Sicilies. I think I'm just being stupid, but Ottomans lost Bulgaria. Seems to happen quite a bit this game. Persia is a puppet. My goodness, that's very aggressive of you. Also looks like they're fighting, France and Britain. Weird. How's Prussia doing? They haven't formed North German Federation. Enslaving and Holstein are still together with Denmark. Russia, I assume, continues to be backwards. No, they actually got interventionism. Very nicely done. Russia's probably going to pop off this game then. Let's see. Not that bad. Could be better. China's doing okay. Britain conquered Bangkok. Cute. How's America doing? They have not conquered Mexico, but they've taken Alaska. Interesting priorities. Manifest Destiny, I suppose, is overrated. They still have slavery. It's pretty common, to be honest. The Americans tend to be slow about banning it. Graduate taxation. Beautiful. Okay. Is there anything else we want, law-wise? We grab protected speech, just to finish off our radical, you know, angle. I wanted to get rid of poor laws, but this is only, I think, like no one wants. I know you can get communists in the rule, folks. So I wonder if we have any communists around. We do have a communist. Okay. But he would join the peasant movement instead of, like... But that's okay, because we can still put him in charge. I assume the peasants are pressuring the rural folk. In fact, yeah, they are. Let's grab this guy. This communist. Now, unfortunately, his traits are not nearly as good as our current ruler's traits. The fact that this guy has ambitious and imperious is kind of insanely good. Charismatic is good. Like one administrator is really good. So that kind of sucks. But going communist is kind of awesome. So let's do that. Now there's going to be a coup. Of course. And now we don't have a government. Okay, well. I guess that's because the party's changed. Yeah, okay, well, there goes our intentions for Council Republic. Okay. It's gonna sound out of left field, but at this point in the game, I'm more or less coasting and economy building, but I want to shake things up, so I'm gonna pursue the communist path here, with the intention that perhaps, if one day I do break free from Britain, I can use the power of collectivization to get all the industries they have in my nation back to government control. It would certainly help the budget, both to not pay taxes to Britain, and to get a bunch of new government dividends, that's for sure. Almost out of debt, by the way, which means more construction. Woohoo! There's the Communist Party, the rule folk. What's the voting looking like? Very strongly communist. Okay, excellent. The problem, of course, is that we have a modifier on us now, where we can't change government, but only for 28 months. So a couple years, then we can change. How's our legitimacy? It's nothing. We can't reform the government, though. Oh, we can. Oh, okay. I don't know why we can, but we can. 81% clout on the rule folk. This is just ridiculous. Now we can go for Council Republic if you have to wait 4 more months. Okay, that's fine. Wait 4 months. Corsicans are now the third largest culture in Transorangia. 5 million GDP, by the way. Look at that. Look at that graph. It's actually a pretty satisfying graph. Just 17 months we're incorporating this, by the way. Very good. And there's Council Republic. Look at that flag. Look at that Corsican communist flag. Under Lucien de Luchtenberg, a Frenchman. That's kind of like reverse Napoleon, I guess. So in terms of whether or not this is actually a good idea, I don't know, but we're going to do it anyway, because why not? But I wanted to do command economy, didn't I? Wait a minute. Do the communists support command economy over intervention? They do. So I think actually, because I wanted to do command economy, we're going to cancel this. And we're going to rush for command economy planning after we get dynamite. Because I think I do actually want to do that. Now it's going to be a lot of years, but I think I can throw down some universities at this point. Can make it a new company. So we can grab the agricultural company here. Another coup is incoming. I want the current regime to survive, so no. We could do this company to get better grain for our millet farms. But I feel like agricultural companies just kind of really suck. I'd rather just go straight to the grocery company once you build the groceries. Which I guess I should do right away. Which actually maybe prioritize getting the grocery company ready. Oh, is this the war? Oh, this is the war. I thought this was going to be the one where Prussia would free Schleswig and Holstein. But no, this is the war of Scandinavian unification. And it's not looking good for Sweden. Or rather, no, it is, because they have Britain on their side. So it's going to be Austria against Britain, I guess. In terms of slavery, by the way, I see no reason to get rid of it. I mean, the reason is that it's really bad and it's not actually very good because slaves are not useful pops. But I think it'd be really funny to have like, I wanted to do collective ownership for the cooperative ownership with slaves is a very funny idea because it implies that the other workers collectively own the slaves. But since we're going to command economy, I guess it'll be that the government owns the slaves instead. We have to get rid of voting for that, by the way, which is annoying. But I think it shouldn't be too hard to do to get rid of voting. This communist guy likes votes. In that case, I guess maybe we don't do command economy actually, because it's going to be impossible to go back to autocracy. Also, suddenly the liberals are winning. What happened to our? Okay, I guess we just don't have communists anymore. Now we're all about the liberalism. I guess they just didn't want to make a party with I don't know why the party went away, dude. Sometimes parties in this game are really weird. Something's up with it. Like, I mean, it feels like it's not working how it's supposed to, but at the same time, I can't point to what's wrong with it. But you ever just like play a game enough that you kind of know when something's wrong? Something is up with parties in the current game. Also, coup. So, okay. Quick explanation here. When I put the communist in charge, that made it so he no longer wanted to be in the Agrarian Party, as he likely wanted to join the Communist Party. The issue is that there is no Communist Party, and we're already in an election cycle, so new parties aren't being founded. Thus, the Agrarian Party scattered to dust when the rural folk left it, and then they didn't join any other party, so their clout also died, as we're on universal suffrage where votes count for a lot of clout and legitimacy. In order to fix this issue, I'll have to wait for the next election, or else I could have instead put the communist guy in charge after the election came to an end. Because then we could grab technocracy, and we could go command economy after. Either way, we have enough food industries, but unfortunately, one of them has been privatized. Well then, technocracy. Yep, we love technocracy. And then I don't think we have to negotiate. I think we're good. This should be a reasonable pass. Comes the groceries. Now we should be able to make our company. The Transorangia Foods. Now, who's the leader? Market Liberal Industrialist. Cool. Let's give it a name. The Transorangia Foods. Now, who's the leader? Market Liberal Industrialist. Cool. Let's give it a name. Let me look up some Corsican food. They got minestre, which is similar to the Italian minestrone. Let's look at the desserts, because I feel like the desserts are going to be the easiest to sort of justify making a company for. Chestnut flour and brocciu appear as ingredients by many Corsican cakes. Falculele from Corte are small cakes made with brocciu, sugar, flour, and egg yolk, and cooked in oven over a chestnut leaf. Clearly, whoever wrote the Wikipedia article is themselves Corsican, given some of the weird grammar here, but that's okay. Cacavellu from Vico is a round cake prepared with a wheat, yeast, eggs, and strutu dough, garnished with brocciu mixed with sugar, orange zest, and eggs. By the way, I'm reading brocciu as if it's Italian, because I don't know if Corsican has different reading rules, orthographic rules, I guess you'd call it. So I'm saying brocciu, but I don't know if that's right, so sorry about that. Piadone, prepared also in a similar form in some regions of southern Italy, is a cheesecake made with brocciu, eggs, sugar, and citron zest. So whatever brocciu is, they seem to be using this quite a lot. Is that what, I gotta look this up, what is that? It's a cheese, it's cheese. Okay, well, we're gonna go with that because everything seems to include that ingredient. This is going to be, you guys ever heard of the Cheesecake Factory? Well, now it's the Brocciucake Factory. The Brocciucake Factory. Let's give this one to Yankees fan. I guess we can just we'll keep it simple. The Yankees fan Brocciu Factory. There you go. Enjoy. Now, because we're in the British market, there's a whole lot of demand for groceries because British people love eating food. Having trouble employing? Let's maybe subsidize this. Probably it's a qualification issue is why we're having trouble with employment across our industries, but that's alright. I am now already among the top 10 producers of groceries, heading into top 5 it looks like. Perhaps even heading into top 3 in a moment here. That's really funny. Yep, already top 3. Very good. Okay, well, I suppose we can pair this with the Millet Farm Company. Because I guess they do go together, right? They are a natural pair, so okay, sure. I don't know what other company would make is why I'm bothering with this. And we'll give you control over millet farms. Monopoly rights on the millet. Perfect. The leader of this company is Pasquale Sacchetta. He's a radical. All right, all right. Let's rename this. Who gets the millet company? Let's see. Give it to Mutmer. So this is going to be Mutmer Millet. Yeah, that feels fitting, right? Very good. Enjoy that. Thank you again to the channel members. I say it every video whenever I have the channel members come up. Thank you. Really helps a lot having channel members around. Check out the Corsican population here, by the way. Almost at 10 million GDP, by the way. 10 million before 1900 would go crazy. Let's see if it happens. Time to make a university. You know, we gotta get people educated so they can actually work. If you're wondering about this authority negative, by the way, I don't care about it. I'd rather have the decrees than worry about the negatives from having all this negative authority. It gives some radicals, but like whatever. It gives opposition interest group approval down. That's fine. When we pass technocracy, we will get some authority back, so that could help a little bit. There's technocracy. Very cool. That does mean another company slot, by the way. But again, I don't know what I'd possibly make with it. So we'll just kind of chill on that. Also, our new chairman is Petru Palmieri. There's dynamite. That's huge, actually. That's going to make all of our gold way better. Assuming that the British market does actually have dynamite in it. I believe it does. Also, yeah, we should change all of our production methods. I just realized that we're not using the good production methods. We haven't checked this like the entire game. It's really funny. And steel frame buildings. Sure. We can afford it. Yeah, look at that. We have a massive... Okay, I say we can afford it. Holy, we cannot afford it. Never mind. That's why we just shut down some sectors real quick. That's a little better. That does put me to 10 million GDP though, so look at the line. The line goes up. It do be going up, I gotta say. This Council Republic industrialist run nation is really something, I gotta say. There's really something to that. Oh, Sardinia broke free, look at that. There's an independent communist Sardinia here. Are they anarchists? Hold on. No, they're like regular communists. Wow. If only I were not a puppet, I would go and conquer that. We could actually have like a united Sardinia Corsica. Wouldn't that be fun? Speaking of which, is there a nation for that? Wouldn't that be crazy if they actually had that? When it comes to this playthrough so far, it might seem unimpressive, and I'm not afraid of admitting that it is. Those other videos from Sharky Boy and Dairuka have me beat for sure, but the most important thing we're doing here by playing Corsica is putting the culture in the spotlight. Can others say that they brought to the world the Brocciucake, a revolutionary take on cheesecake? Can anyone say that? Of course they can't. Further, we are using assimilation decrees to actually create more Corsicans, and in so doing, we are saving the Corsican people from irrelevance. After all, there are so few of them, and sure, we could just let that be, but what would this Corsican Empire really be doing for its people if it were not to see them multiply and prosper? Only 29 months for central planning now. Cute. I don't think we're gonna end up being able to do it though. One way to get central planning, if you have industrialists in power, by the way, is to pass laissez-faire. And then once you have laissez-faire, you can get an interventionist on your industrialist, or rather, sorry, a protectionist. And the protectionist is equally as disliking of command economy as laissez-faire. So you can then maybe use like a relatively, like then it's much easier, you know? It's not easy, but you can do it. In terms of getting freedom from the British, by the way, because I know someone watching this is going to be like, oh, why don't you go for freedom from Britain? Bro, it's not happening. It's absolutely not going to happen. Even if we got support from France or from Russia or from America, you name it, like, it'd be so easy for Britain to just invade Corsica and we lose. There's absolutely no shot. So we're not going to go for it. It's just like, it just will not happen. So that's a lie. I understand how brain dead the AI can be at times, and on account of that, freedom may yet be in our grasp. The better thing to consider when seeking freedom from a powerful overlord is why you'd want freedom when the market is just so good. Started work on getting fine grain. The problem is that getting a top 3 producer of fine grain, not going to be easy. We need to make more than 6,000 grain, and I suspect we don't make anywhere near that much. So, yeah, I guess we can start building up all the millet possible and try to get it. Number 5 GDP per capita, by the way. Just a little bit behind Britain, and then the top 3 being decentralized nations is usually just like a misinterpretation of how their market works. Usually, anyway. In the case of this, 107,000 GDP from 17,000 people is pretty impressive, but I wonder how you're doing that. What are you making? You're making nothing. How do you even have GDP? That's what I mean about how, like, things get weird sometimes. They don't actually have any goods they're producing, so I don't know how they're making any GDP, but in effect, we are the most GDP per capita nation, except for Britain. Zeppelins would help us a lot, so let's grab Zeppelins. This will give us more MAPI. MAPI is market access price impact. It'll make everything cheaper, as well as making... So it'll make it so that we don't delete as much money, is the way to explain it, because it makes things cheaper, but it also makes things more expensive, but it makes the outputs more expensive and the inputs cheaper, which is only a good thing. We have almost 500,000 Corsicans now in Transvaal. Mostly they're assimilated Africans, by the way. So if we were to be seeing this happening like in real life, we'd have a pretty insane like Corsican, African like mix is probably what would be happening here. To me, the assimilation decree necessarily is like a non-violent decree, in the sense that I think it's not intended to be seen like roleplay wise as you forcing your culture on people. I think it's intended to be more something of like friendship. That's at least what I hope for. Maybe it's not actually real, I don't know. But I'm thinking that this is like creating a bunch of mixed race Corsicans, which is very interesting to think about. There'd probably be like, you know how there's Dutch and there's Afrikaans? That's like a classic like linguistic change that happened in South Africa with the Boers. I imagine we'll have a sort of like Afrikaani or something. I don't know what you'd call it, but some sort of Italian that's very heavily Corsican and African inspired. I don't even know what a language like that would sound like, but certainly very interesting. How's the culture map mode? I want to look over the world a little bit. Yeah, English majority here is very funny, but we'll turn them Corsican soon. Looking at America, which usually has the most interesting stuff going on. They have Udmurts in Oregon. That's a bit weird. Dixie's up in Montana and Wyoming. Also very weird. English Minnesota, okay. Otherwise, relatively normal. Nothing too crazy here. Big Mexican culture here, though. Mexico did not get conquered, so they're just kind of chilling. Looks like America's trying to do that right now. I was going to say, why haven't they? They're trying to, but they're not able to, I guess. It's probably because I'm assuming that Britain is helping Mexico. No, Britain's working with America to help them against Russia and Scandinavia. Okay. There's a Europe's cultures, very standard. Nothing weird here. Gale Highlands with... Oh, it's almost Thai. Hold on. Are we going to watch it change to Thai right now? No, looks like not. But massive Thai minority up in the Highlands. You don't expect that. You don't see that every day, that's for sure. Then Spain looking... Oh, they span... Wow. Catalonia has been wrecked. They're completely Spanified. Spanishified? Hispanicized? I don't know what you'd say, but... That is, I spoke too soon. I said relatively normal game, but this is a bit weird, I gotta say. Alright. Over in the Middle East. Polish Armenia. Okay. Yep, I shouldn't have said it was a normal game, because it's clearly not. This is weird. Definitely weird. I don't know how that would have happened. Japan looking quite normal. They've Hanified it like a little bit up here, but that tends to happen. It's not historical. Well, it's not very historical, but this tends to happen in most games. Be normal. French North Borneo. That's a bit weird. That's a little bit weird. No, yep. That's a bit strange. Scottish Australia. Yep. Based. Checks out. Scottish Angola. Okay. Yep. Okay, this is interesting. Completely Portuguese North Angola. That I do find interesting because sometimes you see people settle, but the fact that it's 100% Portuguese is, I think that's quite the rarity. See, because here it's a mix of two Africans, and you might expect like a small minority of Portuguese, but how this happened is kind of crazy. Oh, English in South Cameroon, yeah, that's also weird. A huge English majority, wow, okay. How about the religions? I think I check that now. Yeah, it's about what you'd expect. Nothing too crazy. Atheists in Hesse, okay, and Frankfurt. Muslim Newfoundland, okay, hold on, I didn't look at this. The reason why it looks like Sunni's the biggest one is because Catholic and Protestant are separate. So we have some Catholic Irish, some Protestant Irish, some Catholic Anglo-Canadians, and so on. But overall, Catholic plus Protestant beats out Sunni in this case. So it makes sense why Baluchi is smaller than Irish, but Sunni's still winning. Either way, very funny. Oh, we got a new ruler. Now it's oh, we got the protectionist. I was hoping for the Oh, interesting. Wait a minute. He's the new ruler, but then the... How did this happen? Wait a minute. Oh, I see. We just made a new country. Wait a minute. We just made... Yeah, wait. Okay. This is... So what happened here? Remember when we made that colonization charter? Okay. That resulted in that company making a country. Okay. I don't know why this guy became the ruler. I don't know why that happened, but that colony charter that we gave became a country. So now this guy is the ruler of this country and also of my country. But because we're a puppet, we're not allowed to have subjects. So he's not actually my subject or anything. He's just like his own country that exists. It's really weird. Nice flag. So this is what would happen if De Beers were a country. What's the population like here? It's weirdly German. Okay, yep. Now this is the kind of like border gore that I love to see when it comes to like post-colonial Africa. Could you imagine if this were to become a country? And like And let's say that there's so much tension between Botswana and South Africa that like they refuse to give them a corridor here. So you just have the country's capital cut off from this land up here. My goodness, this is very cursed. So good to know, if you're a puppet, don't use colonization charters because that'll just make the land go free. But now we know, I guess. I often believe that I know a lot about Victoria 3 and that perhaps there's nothing new under the sun. But then interactions like this remind me that Victoria 3 is a game with a near constant barrage of strange interactions and unintended consequences. Because no one uses colonial charters, it's likely that no one ever thought to consider the ramifications of using one while being a puppet. Look at this, Corsican, English. Don't worry about the natives. We're treating them very nicely, okay? Treating them very nicely, the native people here. Definitely treating them nicely. At least in my headcanon, we actually are. I'm seeing the assimilation decree as a friendly act as opposed to a, you know, horrible act. This does mean, by the way, this little country, we've made a second Corsican nation. I'm so proud that there is now a second Corsican country on the map. Now, there's no Corsicans living there, so they can't assimilate any people, but still. Still no German unification, by the way. I guess because Scandinavia has this. So when Scandinavia forms, it becomes much harder for Prussia to possibly free the Schleswig and Holstein duchies. So instead, I guess the Treaty of the Holy Alliance is just staying around, and Prussia and Austria are good friends. And they're friends with Belgium, too. That's cute. Alright, then. A sovereigntist does approve of multiculturalism. Corporatist, Okay, we can take the sovereigntist. We can get multiculturalism this way. Oh, we have to ban... I forgot we have to ban slavery for that. Well, we're not doing that. There's no way we're banning slavery. Come on now. Like, we should. It's the correct choice. But come on now. Actually, I'm going to, because it looks like everyone hates it. Okay, I'll just get rid of it. But before we do, I want to check how many slaves we ended up having. So, there's the jobs. 12% slaves in Transvaal. 8% in Orangia. Zulu, it's 15%. North Cape is 15%. Okay, how about back home in Corsica proper? 15%. Okay, yeah, it's nothing too crazy. That was fun, though. Fun to go debt slavery for a bit. 41 million GDP, look at that. For Corsica, not bad. Nauru has 88 GDP per capita, so, you know, hard to compete with that. They have one person! Dude, there's one guy living here. The funny part about this, so, obviously the reason why is because they only have a very small portion of their island left. They have one population. I guess it's this guy. You think that, right? But guess what? Their IGs still have leaders. So the game is lying, actually. The game is actually lying, but I wonder how the clout gets split. Wait a minute. Like, so you have one person here. It is a woman. Well, already they're lying to me. There's two people here. But it shows a woman here. So let's imagine this is the last woman on the island, okay? What's her politics like? You don't even support a political group. Wow. So how does it calculate clout then? Like, how do you even calculate clout on these groups? It's just this 0, 0, 0 plus percentages. Is it just... yeah, okay. Sure. Cool, I guess. I don't know. That's funny, though. When you get to numbers that tiny in regards to a game of Victoria 3, nothing makes more sense. It just stops meaning anything. About to ban slavery, perhaps. Let's see. Do we get it? Not quite. That's alright. That's alright. I wonder if I were to be independent, how much prestige, like what level of great power would I be? We can check that by going to Ledger, going by a prestige number. Because remember that, like, if we were independent, we would be... So we'd be right, I guess we'd be almost exactly right where we're supposed to be, looking at these current people. We'd be above the Netherlands, but below Egypt. And I think we would not be a major power, we'd still just be a minor power, but still pretty cool. For example, Cuba, if they were independent, would be a major power, looking at their current prestige. But because they're a subject, they can't be a major power. Oh my god, Britain has almost 6,000 prestige, and then France has 2,500. Please nerf Britain, but also, like, don't, because it makes sense they're so strong, but please nerf also. It's a weird thing where I feel like in terms of gameplay, it'd be kind of more interesting if Britain wasn't, like, always the dominant power of the game. But then, history-wise, like, it's just kind of, this is their century, you know? It's the Victorian century. This is their time to shine. It's difficult to be like, hey, nerf them. It's like, well, they kind of were OP. I get it. It's like how in EU5, Bohemia and France are super OP. Gameplay-wise, it, like, kind of sucks. But historically, like, yeah, that was peak Bohemia and peak France. Well, not peak France, but France has always kind of been peak. Okay, we finally got a positivist in charge of one of our interest groups. So now we're actually ticking on the new machine. And if this finishes, we can get a pretty huge managerial age. And it gives us 5% throughput on everything. So, we would quite like that. Oh, dude, it also makes the intelligentsia like the like command economy. That's huge too. Slavery banned? There it is. Slavery banned. Okay. With that, now we can start working on multiculturalism, but we lost our sovereigntist, didn't we? Yeah, he just left the government though. It's no big deal. Okay, get him back in. Fine. Then multiculturalism. And we can negotiate to make this happen. So let's negotiate with the armed forces. Let's see, sure, pay them some money. Actually, we'll give them political concessions. That's easy to do. Then let's make the people usually not oppose it. Minus bureaucracy is fine. And then that's fine, I think. This isn't, like, by any means at all an easy pass, but I think we'll be able to do it. Dude, I'm not gonna lie, I'm having fun, man. You know all the people saying that Connor should have been playing Corsica? Maybe they were cooking, bro. Maybe they were cooking. Also, yeah, this is bad. I just noticed that our GDP massively dropped because revolution in India, so we lost a lot of our consumer base kind of out of nowhere. That's okay. It's realigning itself. Sometimes that shock happens. Give it a bit and it realigns itself, right? No big deal. We need more like grain production if we're gonna make a prestige grain. So, unfortunately, though, I think we're actually using all of our arable land right now. Like, I think there's literally not a single more piece of farming we could do. Well, we can, but it wouldn't make grain. Which means I doubt we're going to be able to get the fine grain prestige. Which is sad, but it's to be expected. It's very difficult to get into the top 3 on prestige grain. It's just, like, there's so many massive producers of it in the world. Instead, I guess, we could make coal. And this is just kind of high profit. We could also just make more groceries. And that sounds good to me. It's grocery time. Give me the vacuum packaging as well for groceries. Let's go like another 130. I know you're going to say that's a lot. You're probably going to tell me that there's no way that'll be profitable. But remember, the more grain that you build, or rather the more groceries that you build, the higher your SOL will go, and therefore the more grain can be purchased. It's foolproof, okay? It's foolproof. It's a pretty well-known tactic by now that you can spiral up standard of living to make goods like groceries infinitely produce money, but the loop does eventually die if wages get too high, as the margins for profits get harder and harder the higher the standard of living goes, as wages are based on standard of living. Nonetheless, we have a lot of room to grow because the British market is absolutely insane in terms of providing consumers for goods, mostly thanks to India, and by this point in the game, even Canada and British Africa. We're about to hit prosperity bonus on our food factory. Food factory, it sounds so stupid. When we get that, we get birth rate. Now this birth rate's actually kind of insane, by the way. We're now growing at 1.66%, but to be clear, this graph is because of migration. This is not because of our birth rate. And now we're also working on making gourmet groceries. Oh my god, wait, they're almost willing to let me be a protectorate. Wait a minute. Britain. Can I give you an obligation for this? Wow. I need to, well... Okay, let's wait for the Liberty Desire to go higher. I didn't even realize we were getting Liberty Desire. Oh, because they went massive infamy? What did you do? Britain went pariah? What are they doing? I don't even... What did they possibly do to cause it? Did they annex somebody? I guess they took all... Oh, they annexed, like, a bunch of land from India. That must be what it was. But, like, what? This is crazy, actually. Okay, now we're going back down. That's unfortunate. This was kind of our one chance. Now we're 0 acceptance. Oh, maybe we can... But if we do this, we're going to lose relations. But what are our current relations? Exactly 50? Is anybody out there willing to support my independence? Oh yeah, France. Okay, hold on. France. Then I'll just give you some money. Sure, there you go. Please support me. Okay, there we go. Does that make Britain feel a little more scared of my ability to gain independence? It does not. What about if I make a bunch of conscripts? So one thing to keep in mind is that the AI, for some reason, does consider your conscripts, even if you don't raise them, when it comes to determining your military power. Let's see if we can... This? That might push us over. Puts us to a 5% chance. Okay. How about if we also get, like, an... Oh, we can do enlistment decrease the number. Hold on. Temporarily turning these off. And these. Sure. Put me some enlistment decrees down. And then... Will they get even more? Yep. Okay, great. Is this actually, like, the moment where we rise like a phoenix from the ashes? 45% chance. Yeah, okay. I've gambled on worse before. Hold on, let's make a save file. I will just go back if they say no to this. If we're a protectorate, that opens the game up a whole lot. Opens it up a ton, in fact. How do you guys feel about save scumming like this, by the way? Because I don't like to do it too much. I like to just take the punches as they come. But at the same time, it's like, you know, sometimes you just kind of want something to happen, right? Sometimes you just want things to go your way. And in Victoria 3, that's it's pretty often that things do not go your way, because so many things in this game are chance-based. It's actually kind of insane to me how many things are chance-based in this game. It feels like it really shouldn't be that way, but there we go, we got it. Okay, increased autonomy accepted. So now we don't have to pay them any money because we're a protectorate. That's big. And it also means we can take back our little subject if we want to, but I'm good. We could fight like Portugal. Now the problem is that right now we don't actually have an army, but we could make one. Oh boy, can we make one. We're gonna lose Liberty Desire pretty quickly, but no big deal. Where's even reasonable to go? I feel like all of Africa has been conquered already. I guess we can go to South America. That's not a bad idea. Do that. We're gonna spread the Corsicans even further beyond. And let's also take off these enlistment decrees and put back down our national value decrees and social mobility. There we go. Let's make a bit of an army, guys. Let's make an army. We can use the British market to provide the bullets. Multiculturalism could pass right here. Let's see. If we get this, then we're gonna get a lot of migrants. It's gonna be kind of insane. We didn't get it, but that's okay. This is still a good event. I think I'm actually gonna go for multilateral alliances to reduce our infamy gain. Then we'll finish up this tech. One nice thing at multiculturalism is that now we can invite pretty much every agitator in the game. So let's see who we got. Who do we got in charge of the industrialists? Who's out there? Modernizer? Yeah, it doesn't prefer command and laissez-faire. Not very many. Okay, a couple modernizers and stuff here and there. How about intelligentsia? Who do we got? A lot of nihilists. We have a vanguardist. Oh, dude, that's good. Vanguardists are an extremely rare ideology. I find that you very rarely ever get them. We're going to keep this guy in mind. We're going to look a little more. But he's good because single-party state, command economy, like just two laws that are very difficult to get. Well, single-party state's not that bad, but command economy is tough to actually get. Wilfrid Laurier. This is like the Canadian guy. Yeah, hold on. I know this guy. This is like one of our prime ministers. And that's cool. He's in the game. I didn't even know that. Wilfrid Laurier as the like foreman of the Corsican Republic is definitely an idea, but let's grab the vanguardist guy. And he supports the liberal movement. A vanguardist supporting the liberals? My goodness, what a world we live in. Put him in charge. Makes our government not very happy. Okay, though. Britain has once again gone over 100 infamy. What are you doing? 103. Wow, okay. I mean, good. I'm glad, but still, it's weird. I don't know why they're doing it. Maybe they just think they're so strong they don't have to care about being cut down to size. To be fair, no one's attacking them. So I get it. They do have 400 battalions. Like, yeah, I mean, there's no way anyone can ever invade them. But I get it. But that a navy that big, it's like impossible. Were my groceries complete, by the way? Big. Hold on. We gotta change over the name. There's improvement under science. I want managerial age. Perfect. Oh, it's only 10 years. That was the rest of the game. Only 10 years. Still, 10 years of 5% throughput's nice. There's our gourmet groceries. I want to rename these once. Where's the button? There it is. Now this is gonna be the famous Corsican Brocciucake. Okay, we're changing up what a cheesecake is. There you go. Now, to be honest with you, the change to be able to, like, the update that lets you change the names on goods is so good. Like, I absolutely adore that change. So thank you, Paradox, for that one. It's a small thing, but it really makes the game a lot more fun. Now, if only I could nationalize all these buildings. Ooh, wouldn't that be fun? Anyway, let's get the intelligentsia back in here. Let's do this. Yeah, that's perfect. Now, I'd like to go to single party state, I guess. Although that's gonna be, I guess people don't want that. Who doesn't want this? Petite bourgeoisie. Do you perhaps have an authority, like someone better that if we get rid of you, get a liberal? Yeah, okay. Well, pretty much all of these would make it better, so let's get rid of you now. Oh, I have guaranteed liberties. Oh, dang it. In that case, we could try to replace him. Yeah, we have a royalist. Hold on. Unless, is the royalist actually pressuring? Yep, okay, we'll put the royalist in charge then. Although I did recently put the vanguardist in charge, so can I even do this? 3 years. Okay, never mind. Everything I'm trying is failing. Very sad. Oh wait, we can just go command economy because we already have technocracy. Right, okay. Well, let's just pass this then. We didn't get the armed forces to help out. I guess I can make a tooling workshop just because, I don't know. They're making some tools in the Northern Cape, it looks like. In charge of it is Salvatore Vincenzini, a Republican. Fine. And I guess we can rename this to something after a channel member. This will be the Mine Loro. Sorry, it's like double L. I'm never sure how to pronounce it. I'm sorry. If I ever say things in ways you don't like, just correct me in the comments. Mine Loro Metals. Simple. There we go. We should do a quick check on our company since we're here, by the way. So the Nezuko Consolidated Mines is doing like fine, and they even have their own country, but they gets named De Beers, which is interesting. It doesn't take the custom name, but they're doing okay. I mean, it's kind of just gold, right? So gold does well, and that's about it. Over in Yankees fan Brocciucake, I have no trouble saying it. Brocciucake Factory. That looks like profits are also looking pretty good. A lot of food industries, but not as many as you might think, because unfortunately Britain has bought out a lot of our food. But when we get our independence, surely, then we'll be able to do it, right? I like how I said I would not even try to get independence, but now it's all I can think about. Because like low-key, I think it could be possible. Spain is kind of strong. Spain, do you want to help me? Yes, you do. Hold on a minute, dude. Again, you get 5 years of investments, but we're just going to nationalize it all later, so don't worry. And then, is Portugal strong? No. Russia? Hey, you want to support me, big guy? I think if we improve relations, you might be willing to. Dude, I think we're going to be able to do this. Now, when I get my independence, I'm thinking about if I want to add some big war goals and try to, like, take over London or something. Wouldn't it be crazy if we took over the capital? Because look at all the financial districts here. The manor houses, that we could nationalize all of it. Oh my goodness. What we actually really want probably is a place that's going to have a lot of resources that we don't have. So like the Midlands would be very nice to get because of the sulfur. Sulfur is hard to come by a lot of the time in this game. There's command economy. Coal Corp. Cool. I don't have that achievement. First time getting it. Gives us a huge income, so now we can throw down just an absolute ton of construction sectors. Although, maybe I should build up a gold reserve. Maybe we should do that if we're going to go to war with Britain, right? That's probably wise. Well, still, I'll build up a little bit. Just a bit. Just like 10 more. Just 10 more, bro. Just 10 more. No big deal, right? No big deal. I need sulfur. So, Argentina, do you have sulfur? Oop. Yes, they do. Okay. Argentina, I'm coming for you. See, this is like kind of, this is what I would call sort of like meta Victoria 3, where I'm not even worrying about, like, roleplay and stuff. I'm literally just gunning for crazy shit. Just fun. I'm gonna throw a humiliation on here. Maybe he'll back down. You never know. Throw on like revoke claim, like just stuff that'll make him want to back down. This doesn't cost any infamy, so happy to click it. Patagonia also has sulfur, something to keep in mind. Also, the Scandinavians made a power block I didn't even notice, and they took over Sardinia, Piedmont. It's cute. It's a military treaty. A lot of military treaties this game. Spain, France, and Scandinavia are all military treaties. And then Cultural Commonwealth for America. The problem with Cultural Commonwealth on the States is that because they have a Germanic language, they don't really have a lot of options for culture converting people. Whereas if they had like Spanish or something, they could make all of America into their culture, like all the Americas. I mean, it'd be pretty crazy for them. Almost landed, it looks like. There we go, we've landed. Before this war ends, I want to start the war against Chile. Looks like Brazil might help them, and if they do, that's a little bit of a problem, but it's not a big problem. English people are obsessed with opium. Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. That's insane. Yep, English tea and opium obsession. My goodness, the most degenerate Englishmen. We found them. How's the English population of Corsica doing now, by the way? 1.6 million, and we have 1 million Corsicans here. Okay. We have 5 million total pops here. There's an insane number of people living. Wow. Rajputs living in Natal. And over here it's Gujaratis. So it's like Indians and Corsicans and Africans. The logic of conquering states with lead and sulfur to try and make a more independent economy is a sound one. However, in my fervor to obtain independence from the British, I didn't think to actually get building on any of those resources. So we're going to skip ahead to the Independence War, and you'll see that despite planning ahead, I'm still gonna have a billion shortages. Nonetheless, I will say there were far more shortages on goods than just lead and sulfur based ones, which means that even with my preparations, it would be nearly impossible for me to get off the British economy so easily. Oh yeah, this is big. I think we have a pretty good chance here. Ottoman Empire probably joins Britain, that's no big deal. And all we're gonna have to do is defend our capital. We're gonna probably have to just let this all get occupied. It's gonna hurt, but I can't hold both fronts. Like, that's just not happening. So we're gonna stay in Corsica, defend our capital. Like, if I take the rest of South Africa, that'd be kind of nice. Looks like, yeah, all my allies are gonna send troops down, so that's good. Brazil sides with Great Britain. Okay, not a huge deal, I don't think. What I'm curious about, I don't remember this from other playthroughs and stuff. I'm curious if when we actually do start the war, if that immediately lets us start nationalizing everything. If it does, that'd be kind of crazy. Because then, even if we lose the war, we still have successfully nationalized a bunch of stuff and we'll be doing just fine. No, I can't, not until I actually get independent. We immediately have a million shortages. I'm just gonna max taxes, and we have to just survive. That's all we have to do here. Looks like he's not going for a landing on me right away. Good. In which case, I think I'm actually going to send these troops down here. I think he's going to focus on invading guys like France, which is perfect for me. I just need to occupy South Africa, and then I can win. Losing £1 million a month, or rather a week. Not so good. That gives us 58 weeks to win. Gotta hurry. Well, a little bit less than 58 weeks. It gives us not very many weeks at all to win. If we get our independence, it will all been worth it. We just need to take the Cape, and then we can start taking him down. And it'll take a long time. We'll have to default, and it is what it is. Okay. Less France, you want to pay off my debt? France, hey, take on debt, minus 500? Okay. Got it. Not happening. I guess, honestly, we could just put taxes to nothing, because we're not, like, we're going to be defaulting regardless, so drop taxes and get a legitimate government to avoid some of the radicals, at least. Is this actually high population stuff? No, this is, like, super low population. There's, like, nobody here. But conquering this South African stuff is more for, like, making the nice borders. Also, damn, De Beers has grown. It's so funny that they exist. So our companies are probably going to lose all of their prosperity, and, like, that's fine. No big deal. We'll get it back, maybe. I'm not sure if we will, actually. Britain's about to enter the negatives. Oh, did we lose our capital? What? Oh, did they take India's capital? Wait, why aren't we taking independence? Oh, India. Where's India's capital? What? This is really bad. Oh my goodness, is it because of delay? Oh, Dominion of India. Where's your capital, buddy? Yeah, wait, that's not controlled by Britain. What do you mean? What are you talking about? This was very weird. I couldn't find any Indian states that were occupied by Britain, let alone their capital, and yet the war goal just won't count as active. Had this weird problem not been happening, we'd actually be ticking Britain into the negative right now and be on the way to winning the war, but instead I have to deal with this crap. Well, sorry folks, but I'm not putting up with Victoria 3's weird brokenness right now, so instead, I relaunched the game in debug mode and ended the war with the yes men command. It is what it is. Yeah, they're yes men. Okay, it's yes men, this game. Now they should be willing to accept the peace deal. Okay, I forgot to click India's independence. That's okay though. There we go. Okay, great. Now I'm gonna make another save and turn off debug mode and then resume. Again, if it upsets you that I just did that, then I just played Corsica. Okay, so you got no leg to stand on, buddy. I think I can turn off debug mode just typing in debug_mode. I think you can do that. Yes, okay, that works, and that should get rid of all extra stuff. Beautiful. Okay. Open up the building registry. And we're just going to nationalize everything with no compensation. Except for our company stuff, I guess. Yeah, not the company. Why is it saying I need to pay for it? Why? Oh, it's because I forgot that. So there's a weird bug where when you try to nationalize stuff, you need to have the money in your gold reserve to be able to do it. And if you didn't click the button where it doesn't actually do it, you just don't spend the money, but you still need the money to be able to click it at all. Okay, now I can bankrupt. Still have no money. This is from presumably subsidies. Food and yeah, okay, it's the big food industry. And then we can turn off subvention. Losses from buildings. Okay, nice. Not gonna go in here and nationalize everything? Yeah, okay, we have to take off the company stuff. There you go. So, because we didn't have 18.5 million, we couldn't click it before, but when we click this, we're not going to lose 18.5 million because we're not clicking the compensation button. There you go, see? Cool. Do it all again, but this time again, just no companies. Good. And then again, worker-owned company. Perfect, okay. We actually have a positive budget. The bankruptcy hurts. We're probably going to lose our great power status pretty quickly. We're going to lose great power status pretty fast. But we did it. Independent and free Corsica. And it only cost us all the standard of living and all the GDP, because being part of the British market is insanely strong, and we should have just stayed in the market. But with that, I'm going to let the game run for maybe another couple years and just see what happens. We're already down to losing another. Okay. it's not a good, that's not good. That's not good at all. Yeah, we were so dependent, especially because the British market gave us India, and India is like a huge source of resources and demand. So now just like the whole economy is no longer functional. So what you could do in theory is we could actually like take the time to redo our whole economy and figure something out. But instead, I'm gonna call it here. This is the Corsica game. We conquered a little bit of Argentina, conquered a random piece of, I guess this is Bolivia today. Well, Lima is in Bolivia, right? Or is it in Peru? I don't know. I do not know if this is in... I guess I'm going to say it's in Peru because it has Quechua people, but... Yeah. Point is... yeah, that was a tough playthrough, though. But we made it through. 45 million GDP. We had a peak of 113 million. We had a peak of 19.5 standard of living. We ended up making how many Corsicans down here? Let's see. 1.2 million Corsicans in Trans-Orangia, and then in Transvaal, 1.4 million. Look at the general culture map. Pretty cursed here. We do have a Swana majority here again, but for a while we had a Rajput, or rather Gujarati majority. Rajput majority down here. Then in terms of the rest of the map, like, okay, the Thai Highlands did end up happening. Very funny. Also Scottish Ulster, that's pretty funny. Beyond that, like, is there still Polish Armenia? There is. We saw this earlier in the run, Polish Armenia. And the rest of it's kind of okay. I mean, UA up here is interesting. UA Tanu Tuva is weird. Nothing too insane. French parts of Africa, English parts of Africa. How about America? How are they looking? Relatively normal. I mean, Dixie's up north is not normal, but this relatively... With that, we conclude the Corsica campaign with our pride intact, but the economy in shambles. It's not that it's impossible to make this work, it's just that it's a lot of work to get going, and I'd rather just call it a day after playing Corsica for this long. It's not that it wasn't fun, as it actually was kind of fun. It's more that I miss being a little more proactive on the world map. Regardless, I'm happy to report that I genuinely think I enjoyed playing an insignificant power, and that in the future, I may consider these smaller nations a little more often. Thanks to the channel members for watching. Sorry for destroying the profits on your companies, guys, but it had to be done. For Corsican freedom, of course. Thank you to your viewers as well for watching. Thank you for your time. I'm actually going to read that section on. Thanks to the channel members for watching. Sorry for destroying the profits in your companies, guys, but it had to be done for Corsican freedom. Thank you to your viewers as well for watching. And thank you all for your time.